Hello, everybody, and welcome back to tracking our local shifting real estate market here in southern New Jersey, Burlington, Camden, Gloucester counties, 900,000 and below. And this week we are week 4 of January of 2024. So today I want to run through our stats. I'm going to get to some stuff at the end of the video, doing a little bit about upgrades to save some money on your home. And I got to that point because I'm starting to get concerned with what's about to happen to prices. So these two are a little connected today, why we're doing our side topic based on what we're looking at today. So here's the big overarching concern I have at the moment. Last year, and these two graphs I have pulled up are from last year, but I'm very nervous about what could happen. Now, last year, we saw that our active listings tanked in the first part of the year because of inflation. We had 1,500 in January. We dropped down to 1,100 in April. Okay, so a fairly large drop in the available inventory. Now, at the same time, we had a very rising price market. We started at 312 and we ended up at about 325 by the time we were in the same month in April, 319, 325. But then the prices really stayed up for quite a long time, up at the 340 mark. So the question that I want to answer is, are we in for the same thing? Are we going to look to see that this spring, over the next couple of months, we're going to have another 8% increase in price? I hope not. I hope not. Hey, as a homeowner, I'm not going to complain that my equity increases, but as an agent, helping a lot of buyers who are constantly getting priced out of their dream homes, that's the part that's becoming difficult. Okay, so let's take a look. So the first 4 weeks of the year, we have been on a downward trend for total active listings, right? We had week 2, which bumped up a little bit, but we're kind of sliding down here again. Now, back in January of last year, we had 1,444 listings, and this year we only have 1,282. So, I mean, we're already down below that. And again, I'm concerned that if this trend of this slide continues, that we're going to again start to see that price increase again. So I don't want to see that. But you can see our new listings at 191, that's not great. Last year, this time we had 249. Our pendings, or what went under contract last year, we put 300 under contract. This year, only 230. And what was actually funny is we had exactly the same amount of closed properties this week as last year at 213. So again, we're kind of hovering in these lower 200s numbers when we were used to seeing some of these numbers at the peak of last year, closer to 300s. I think there was even one week where we got into the 400s for one or two of these groupings. So that's a little concerning that just the speed of the entire market's down, and I think it has to do with the amount of available listings. Expired, withdrawn, and canceled, again, a fairly nominal amount. Price reductions, again, we're going to be hovering around this 100 mark. But days on market actually reversed course for the first time since we saw them declining. They actually just kind of went back up one or two, which isn't the end of the world. And our median list price is staying fairly stable, again, right about this 330 to 335 mark. So that's the concern for me, is that if we don't start bringing on some serious listings to start rebounding this the other way, is this 335 median list price going to go back up again? Is this going to go back up to a 340 to a 345 mark? Again, as a homeowner, I'm not complaining, but as a agent helping buyers, that's hard. Now, as a seller, you sort of have a wash here because, yeah, the longer you wait this year, you may sell your home for more, but you're going to be buying a home for more. Now, at the same time, interest rates are supposed to fall, so you may want to wait for interest rates, but so is everybody else. So if you're a buyer and seller this year, I think there are too many factors that are going up and down at the same time for you to realistically try and time the market this year. This year, for a seller, if you're going to sell and buy, it's just about when it's right for you. You're going to just bite the bullet one way or the other. Hey, I could have waited 2 more months but sold for a little bit higher, but then I wouldn't have gotten the interest rate or whatever it comes out to be. Okay. So that's my concern, is that I have a lot of people right now who are buying homes and the monthly payment is becoming prohibitive. So I started thinking to myself, if this is the trend that's happening, if this is what's actually going to be going on from the market statistics, what we can't control, what can we control? And what we can control is figuring out how to save some money inside of our home. So I want to just talk about my 8 topics for saving you money every month. Some of these I've done, some of these I will be doing, some of them I won't be doing, right? So let's just run through the top 8. First are your appliances. Look, every month you get your mortgage payment, you're paying your taxes, your insurance, but you're also paying your utilities, right? Utilities are generally the second largest category of expense that you're going to owe every month on your home. And so if you have a really old 30-year-old mid-efficiency or low-efficiency heater, it might be time to do an upgrade. And they do have some rebate programs through some of, I think PSE&G has one through some of these where you can actually get a credit back, $100 or $200 back on an older style appliance by going to a more high efficiency. So your heater, your AC unit, your water heater, I would even argue potentially your stove, your oven, right? Microwave, even some of those. Try and look for some of those Energy Star rated models if you're going to be in the market for getting a new one soon. We actually just bought a new dryer over the weekend, and that was one of our things to look through was some of the options that had that Energy Star rating. So smart thermostats. It's a programmable thermostat. I don't think this is anything groundbreaking. I'm not even going to stay on this one for too long. But obviously, if you are a family where you both leave in the morning or you leave in the morning and you do not come home until 5 or 6 o'clock, well, to continue running your house at 75 degrees in the middle of the winter for 8 hours, 8, 9 hours that you're not there doesn't make sense. Now, if you have pets, if you have kids, if you have other people who are going to be at home, obviously this is a different conversation. But for those, I'd like to see you go from, if you keep your house at 72 degrees, let's say, drop it to maybe 68. Don't drop it to 60, right? Don't bring it all the way down because it's got huge fluctuation. Isn't really great for your system. You want to let it take a little bit of a break and then just have it come up back up to your 72, maybe the half hour, 45 minutes to an hour before you get home. And then maybe you can even cool it again in the evening when you go to sleep. Easy one. LED lighting. This was an annoying one because we hated the glare of what an LED light used to look like, but it's 2024 now. You can go to Home Depot. They have the LED lights that have the mechanics and components of an LED light, but they look and have that soft yellow glow like an incandescent light. So you don't really have this excuse anymore to say like, well, I like the look and feel of the incandescents. They have LEDs that have that. So LEDs for me is an easy one. That's one that we're sort of just going light bulb by light bulb in the house. Anytime it breaks, it just has to be replaced with an LED. I'm not going around right now and buying $200 worth of new light bulbs. I'm just not going to do that. But as these things start to go, I will be replacing them with LED bulbs. So that's just a way of kind of mitigating this cost over time. All right. Home insulation one. This is one I actually talked about on a video not that long ago. I was getting a huge draft in this house, and I found there was basically 3 areas in my house that were causing the most amount of issues. One was an attic space that had a door that connected to our living space that was not insulated behind it. Number 2 were some of our older style wood windows that I did the cheap fix on them. I did the plastic tarping on them with some blue tape just to help them not come through. And then actually in my basement, right along where the sill plate is, which is effectively where the cinder block meets the first feet of wood, I had a section that had some broken and damaged wood, and I didn't realize that, and it was allowing a lot of draft to come in. So in that basement, those windows and those different seals and things like that, that's another big one. And most of the time, 80 to 90% of your draft is coming from like 2 to 3 big items that just need to be addressed, right? Number 5, solar panels. New Jersey is big on solar. New Jersey, I think, actually may have the highest density of solar panels in the country. We're a dense state, so that actually wouldn't surprise me all that much. That might be a wrong fact, but it's somewhere in that nature of chatting with people like New Jersey has a lot of solar, and we actually have a lot of great rebates to solar. And I had somebody come and sit down with me. There was some upfront costs, there were some different things, but they could help you basically roll in and finance a new roof with your solar panel. Personally, as someone who maybe end up doing my own roof, I've been called crazy for that. I didn't really see the benefit of going with this immediately. I was also just a little bit of nervous. For me, there's a little bit of a nervousness from a solar panel when it comes to a fire. If you have solar panels on your roof and you have a fire, you can't just use traditional water fire trucks to put it out. You have to use these specialty foam trucks, and they're not exactly every truck has this capability. And so if you had a fire in your home, they may literally not be able to spray your house with water while it's burning to the ground. So that's, again, talk to your fire department, do some more research on that. But for me, just being in a house with a bunch of animals and things like that, there was a fire concern for solar panels for us, but I'm probably overplaying the danger of it. It's probably, by a percentage sake, more positive than negative. Low flow fixtures. This is one that maddened me when I lived in New York City in a 400 square foot studio apartment on the Upper West Side for 1 year after college. Low flow fixtures. And they say that most of them should maintain water pressure. Some of that's a little not as good as I thought, but it does use less. I mean, if you have kids that have 2 sinks and they're just sitting there running it for the entire time they're brushing their teeth, and they like to just sit there with the water on. Yeah, maybe you go in and install some low flow faucets on some of those ones, but maybe you keep your primary shower, your primary faucet, a normal one. Window upgrades. This is a big one, guys. We live in South Jersey. A lot of the homes here were built in the early 1900s and then maybe upgraded in the 70s and maybe not upgraded again. We have a lot of wooden style windows. We have a lot of aluminum windows. If you have some of these older style windows, again, you don't have to do every window at once. Maybe this year you just do the windows in one room. Maybe next year you do the windows in another room, and you just start slowly making your way around. Chunk these projects down to be month to month and year to year as opposed to everything all at once. To redo all the windows in a home might be $20,000, but to do all the windows in just one room of the house where you are regularly congregating, that may only be $1,500. So again, chunk these things down, focus on the areas that you spend a lot of time in first, and then work your way out to some of the areas of the house you work on less. And the last one is a rainwater harvesting system. So in New Jersey, rainwater harvesting is absolutely legal. You can go and do rainwater harvesting. And if you're going to be, washing your car a lot, or in the summer you're going to be doing some gardening and vegetable gardens like Kylie and I are, we're going to be doing something like this. We're going to be getting a rainwater harvesting system installed there, and that's what we are going to be basically using for anything that we're not drinking. Anything that we're not drinking and anything that we're not showering in, that's pretty much going to be the water that we use for it. So, do I think that any one of these individual things is going to save you thousands of dollars a month? No. But just like you've probably gone through in your expenses and got rid of a few small things, well, over time, these things start to add up. So, again, my big thing with this is, we are fighting an increasing pricing market and an affordability issue on the real estate market side of things. That's just the nature of what we're facing. We can't control that. But the point of this is to say, what can we control? How can we go against the forces that be, these larger players and the institutional players that are trying to get us to be just cash strapped so that we're just focusing on grinding and focusing on working, and we can't enjoy the softer side of life because they want to keep us right here and kind of stuck in the mud a little bit. So what I say is, fine, you want to put us into a position where houses are going to cost more. Well, I am going to become even more frugal. I'm going to become even more intelligent about the ways that I can save money on a monthly basis so that I can still enjoy the life that I want to have without being a victim of a rising price interest rate market. Anyway, that's going to do it for us on this week. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will see you for the last week of January where we get to our first year over year monthly average comparison. I know that sounds riveting. Talk to you next week. Bye.